everybody. I want to start off by thanking everybody at Autzen Stadium tonight, which made an unbelievable atmosphere for our players, for the game, everyone that was on hand, a lot of recruits in town as well, former players, alumni. They were awesome. They certainly impacted the game on a couple different plays. So it was awesome to have them. And, at times pretty sloppy tonight now. We saw that, especially in the first half. Second half certainly got better and got some things rolling. Suffered one injury that might be a little bit more significant with Gus. We'll find out more. But obviously, you saw he got twisted up down there pretty good. Aside from that, Dawood popped up, so Dawood's going to be okay. But certainly happy to have our second win in conference against a team that we knew was going to be a tough team. But we certainly got to get out of our own way sometimes. Going down there almost twice for sure in the red zone, once right on the fringe, and turning the ball over has not been our MO. In fact, from a penalty standpoint and from a turnover standpoint, we've been really good. And tonight in the first half, we were not so. But good to see our guys rally and good teams that are working their way to being good find a way to win those games. And our guys found a way to get that done tonight.
Right here on the right, Ryan, front row.
Mario, it seemed like CJ had a good burst tonight and was also catching the ball like he did last year out of the backfield. It was really off to a good start. Obviously, he's a big part of your game plan. How did that and Travis's fumble problems kind of derail the plan you guys had as you were moving it down, like you said, into the red zone?
Yeah, but you know what? We told them we were going to keep sticking with it because we felt we were getting some pretty good movement up front. We were averaging probably about 5 yards a pop and felt that we could throw our RPO game off of that as well. But in crunch time and some of those critical plays, the ball came out, once in our side, once in theirs, but just got to finish drives. We're really good at finishing. It's such a huge point of emphasis. Got to do a better job coaching it. Obviously, it starts with that. But I thought the best part was that regardless of some of the things that were going on, we had penalties that we are very just not accustomed to having, is that no one flinched. And even though we might have been pressing, everyone encouraged each other, everyone pushed each other, and just took on the mentality, this is going to be a dogfight, and that's okay. Let's make sure that we buckle up, that we just tighten our chin strap a little bit tighter, we clench our hands a little bit tighter, and that we gear down and get ready to go play some good football.
Front left, James.
Follow up on that, Mario. First with CJ, what's the update on his
ankle.
injury?
He twisted his ankle. I don't know how serious it is. I don't think it's serious enough to hold him out of the rest of the game, but it seems that x-rays are negative, so feel good about him being able to bounce back.
And with Justin, at times it seemed like it was one of his more uncharacteristic performances. Frankly, at times he was forcing the ball between both the interception and the one where he hits Weaver in the shoulder when he's going for Breland, where it looked like Juwan was open underneath in particular. How did you assess how Justin played tonight?
Well, I think these are tighter windows against his secondary now. It's not the same. I think on the interception, I thought Jalen had gotten such a good escape, second-level release on his man, that the defender actually undercut him, slid behind him. And we really, just looking at it from our angle, looked like it was going to be a touchdown. But I think the read was appropriate. I just think, we just didn't connect on it. But I think he played not up to his potential. I think Justin played a good football game. I'm sure he'd like to have some throws back. He's always going to be hard on himself, but and we're going to always be very constructively critical of our guys and with feedback to make sure that we help them get better. We're certainly a very eye-to-eye and face-to-face operation. We don't pull any punches, but proud of the way he bounced back and the way he continued to help lead this football team to a victory tonight.
Front left, Matt.
How much of a luxury is it knowing your defense can play the way they did to give your offense time to kind of figure things out? And just what did you make of their overall play?
Yeah, it's great to have, but we certainly don't want to become completely dependent on that because you're gonna have to do more in that. And if we would have played the first half like we did the second half, we'd be more like what we're accustomed to. But we really, really struggled to get out of our own way. And the more as we watched it, it was an effort. It wasn't an attempt to do things the right way. Excuse me, were we pressing a little bit? Were we a little bit rusty for not playing last week? You could point to a million different things. It doesn't matter, and there really is no excuse. We got to do a better job. All of us do. But again, that's fine. When you play good football teams and you play conference games, to be able to buckle up or buckle down like we did and come back and win that football game, proud of our guys.
Middle right, Steve.
or now that your defense, you've seen them kind of stack 3 or 4 weeks of this together, does that make you a little bit more of a believer in kind of what you're seeing is real and kind of confident of this group now that you've seen kind of 3-4 weeks in a row of them keeping teams in single digits?
Yeah, I think the belief has always been really high. What we keep seeing in practice is that we still think that we can even be better. These guys have a high standard. They've really just established that amongst themselves and in the locker room and the way we meet, the way we walk through, the way we practice. So they feel, all of us feel that we can continue to elevate the standard for that defense. And it's exciting to watch. I mean, anyone that was out there, the last month that has watched us play football on defense can tell that, it's coming and it's coming strong.
Tyson, right next to Keith.
This was 2 sacks from Kayvon today.
Yeah.
Where have you seen his progression from when you guys kind of got him in the spring? And if Gus has to miss an extended period of time, is Kayvon the guy that's going to slide in there?
Yeah, he may have been a little bit slowed down by moving from one position to another, from spring to fall. And then when you game plan as opposed to just installing your base defense, that's a load of information now. So, and he's a really smart guy, and he's handled it really well. And today he was able to just put his hand in the ground and get off, and you saw both those sacks were just a product of him just unleashing his ability. I mean, really great get off, got the angle, got the tackle to flip his hips and press right through that shoulder, close on the quarterback, and a couple great plays. So I think we all know the kind of player he can be. Really happy for him. I know he's been wanting to explode like that for a while, so great to see him do that tonight.
Right behind Tyson.
Coach, can you just talk about the dominant game that Isaac Slade-Matawatia had and kind of cementing himself in the starting rotation on the defense?
Well, I think you saw a lot of tackles at the line of scrimmage. You saw some negative plays. You saw the things you probably didn't see that we'll watch on film is the way he took on blockers, the way that he sank his hips, got his hands on blockers, and knocked guys back and controlled his gap. I thought it was just it's a testament to his commitment, to his physicality. Isaac is about 14, 15 pounds heavier than he was a year ago. And his body, last year he might have had a couple nicks that held him out or limited his action. He hasn't missed a snap, and a lot of it is because of what he has done with his body in the offseason. And, that guy's a really good football player now because it's not just in the box. It's out on the perimeter, right? He's chasing stuff down from behind. You saw him on pressure when we brought that one particular blitz, the way he just athletically navigated himself through the A-gaps there and got the sack. So really impressive what he is doing.
Back left, Bree.
Coach, what do you think of Micah Pittman's highly anticipated debut?
Hey, if he could, he'd put another hour on the clock and keep playing. That's the kind of guy that he is. Really happy for him. I know that you see how excitable he is when he touches the ball. And those aren't easy catches either. I mean, a lot of those where he had to lay out a little bit and whatnot. I was very happy that he's healthy and with his teammates and playing ball because it means the world to him now. Being a member of this football program and this team, this family, means the world to him. He's obviously a really good football player. I love a lot of the stuff. Him and Jalen Red, the way those guys are playing as slots, those guys really, they bring a lot to the table and looking forward to some more explosive moments from both those guys.
Second row on the left, Eric. Right here, second row.
When you have a player fumble a couple times like Travis did in a handful of plays, what's the message on the sideline? And I guess why were you so confident to go back to him?
Well, you go one way or the other. I've just been around Travis enough to know what he is, what his makeup is, how much his team means to him. And look, man, I played the game, and I've been on that side when you get yanked, when you miss a block and whatnot, when a guy's really trying to do it the right way, and I think that's the worst you could do for a player. Don't tear down your players. Build them up. Travis has won a lot of football games for us. He's tough. He's determined. It means a lot to him, and I saw how much that hurt him over there. It wasn't only myself, his teammates, everybody surrounded him. We love you. We believe in you. We know you're going to come back and help us win this football game, and he did.
What did you think of Cyrus's tackle?
I've heard a lot of commentary about it. I really don't have all the details about it, so I don't know if it even was a tackle. I'll let you guys fill me in, and I'll just read what you guys write, and then I'll figure it out.
How about him coming in relief and getting the go-ahead score for you?
Yeah,
after?
it's good. Cyrus, when we went to play at Stanford, he was hurting pretty good. He was suffering from back spasms, and that hurt him a lot because he was back home in front of his family. He wanted to play, and his body just wouldn't, it just couldn't get there. It couldn't get healed up in time, and he was a little bit dinged up going into this one right here, but he played enough and practiced enough this week to go ahead out there and play. And he runs tough and he runs hard and he's got great eyes, great vision. So I thought he did an excellent job today.
Right next to him, David.
Do you want your players doing that, tackling a rogue fan during a game?
Oh, it's definitely not part of practice. So.
I mean, you talked about, this kind of being sloppy, but the perseverance your team showed. I mean, how important is it, though, to get these kinds of wins?
It's as critical as it gets. I mean, we always, I don't like the word we always think of games like this is playoff football. I mean, you're playing in conference. Everybody's alive, right? Everybody's in the race, in the thick of things. And I mean, you look at the scoreboard across the country, just some of the things that make your eyebrows go to the top of your head because conference play is different. It means that much more to everybody involved. So to have our guys start the way we did and be able to bounce back, that's, I like looking at snapshots of time, year, 2 years or whatnot. I look at us a couple years ago, what that would have meant to our team and how deflating that could have been. And I look at us now and the rallying that goes on around it. I get ridiculously fired up about it because I feel that it's coming from the inside, and it's hard to stop a team that's motivated from the inside out.
Are players going to buy into that mentality?
Yeah, they're a huge part of it. I mean, we everything we instill and install from a mindset process, a mental toughness and accountability process is something we do together. Our messaging, our leadership council, we all bring it to the table and emphasize it, and it has teeth, it has substance to it. It's not a cliche-ish, empty word type of diatribe. I mean, it's legitimate, just powerful stuff, and we feel that we can hang our hat on that when things get tough.
Back right. We got time for two more, and then James.
Coach, what was kind of the mindset in the halftime locker room there? Obviously not the best first half in the world. Is there anything specific that you said to the guys at halftime?
Well, I thought it was great that before anyone could say anything, Troy Dye had addressed the team. And with words that were powerful, that made it really clear that we were not playing up to our standard, what we are capable of and what we must do. And those words were echoed by everybody else. Position coaches and coordinators right away, making sure that we're focusing on making sure our guys are confident that we can go and play aggressive and put our guys in the best position to make plays. Focusing on some of the other stuff and the noise and the fact that it wasn't a good first half, yelling and screaming about that stuff ain't going to make us better. Not afraid to confront someone and get after them, right? If it's out of not trying hard, but that wasn't the case here. So Troy, the rest of the leaders, they did an excellent job. It was really rewarding to watch the growth of a football team at halftime. Really, from our opinion, that's a huge step for our program.
Last question, James.
Two things offensively, Mario. One, for Schooler to be as involved as he was. I know he had the one big catch, but it was a big play at the time.
Yes.
And Jawan, was it by design that he was a decoy, or was he just not targeted by happenstance? Or
well, I look at it the way that they practiced this week. Jawan was involved in practice more towards the latter part of the week and was more of a late clearance type of guy. In fact, I would have loved to have gotten that to you, but it almost surprised me how late in the week he was actually good enough to go. Micah was able to go for 2 weeks. Micah's been practicing for 2 weeks with us, so obviously he looked a little bit more, I would say a little bit less rusty. I thought Schooler looked great. He practiced this week for the first time, half of Tuesday and all of Wednesday. So I think what you'll see now as we go on is more of the same type of rotation that we all saw before.
We had talked about how Weaver could just be so productive by everybody's measure. I mean, every team he's gone against, he's had double digits,
right,
except tonight. Right. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Was this happenstance? Was this you guys having to get away from the run a little bit in the second half because it was 50-50? Or did you do things by design? I mean, nobody in over a year has held him to 6 tackles.
No, we if you watch the film, I think you'll like what you see in terms of the run blocking and what went on with those guys up front. They got off the ball. I know Shane and Jake stand out right away as two guys that really they had a really good game knocking out the A gaps. And we did a good job attacking both the inside and the outside and mixing up with the gap schemes and some misdirection and swinging the ball out there because, again, they just have not allowed teams to run the ball well. And we thought that teams that had production against them against a run were one of two ways. Either they just got stuffed in there and broke tackles and bounced outside like you saw last week against Arizona State, or you saw quarterbacks just take off, a little bit like Justin did the one time. So, but overall, just thought that the things that we did in the bye week in terms of running the football better paid off tonight, and we certainly feel we can get even better.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.